Good afternoon. I have a very Gen X story to tell you. That's very appropriate for the story I'm about to tell. And it's kind of a bummer, but I think it'll really resonate with a lot of you and strike a chord. And it happened a long time ago, so it's safe to talk about. I grew up in Texas, and when I was 15 years old, I had a group of friends who were kind of on the wilder side. Rural Texas, we drank out in fields. You know, we were country kids. Well, one of the wilder boys' name was Paul. Paul was wild. He and these boys that I hung out with were really into the hair bands, right? Particularly Motley Crue. That was their thing. These boys would always just say their goal was to be Motley. Does that ring a bell with anybody? Does that sound familiar? And on November 6th, 1988, I was 15 years old, and Paul died in a car crash. He and his friend Jay were drunk, and they were out on the country roads in a fast car, and they crashed, and Jay lived. Paul was thrown from the car. And it was the most tragic thing that had happened to me at that point. Paul was out in the field overnight, and he died there in the field. You know, nobody knows how long he was there. But years later, when I was in my 30s, I painted this in honor of Paul. And I call it One, after the Metallica song One, because it tells the story of a young man losing feeling and dying out by himself in a field. And I know that I think Paul died right before that song came out, but I think he would have loved that song. Now, here's the little end point that it makes it so incredibly Gen X. At Paul's funeral, which is one of the fucking saddest things that's ever happened to me in my life. Imagine all these weeping children in a church absolutely full, because he was, he was known notorious as the bad boy. And they played at his best friend's behest, Home Sweet Home from Motley Crue, because they had all agreed that that's what they would want to have played at their funeral. And every time I hear that song, I think about Paul and how he is just forever a 17-year-old boy. And we all grew up, but he didn't. And what an odd phenomena that is. So I wanted to share that with you and share this painting with you. And I also wanted to share that after he died was when I left Christianity forever, because my Christian friends made it a point to tell me, "Oh, so sorry, your friend is in hell now because he died in a drunk driving accident." And at that point I said, "Jesus, I dig ya, but your folks are insane. So I'm out of your church, but still love you." So that's my Gen X story for the day. Hold your babies close, and be careful out there. It's a dangerous world. We're on our way home, sweet home. Walking each other home. Love you. Bye.